Yes, this is how I look like the day I go to work. I don't want to say that I don't care myself so much because actually this is how I care myself because I spend more time to sleep and less time to get pretty. A lot of the time I feel bad to see why the other nurses they are so pretty, but that's okay. When COVID hits USA, what happened? I even get easier with my life because I will have a cap on and I will have a mask on. Yes, that's easier. And another thing, when you're already at my age, I don't know, maybe somebody else, they would even do better about taking care of themselves. But for me, I am turning 45 and I think it's okay. It's okay to not put the makeup on so much and sleep more. Maybe I can spend more time and get prettier on the day off. Let's see what happened in the day of life as the acute dialysis nurse. Follow me.
These are the footage I collected throughout the years as an acute dialysis nurse. They show my routine from the day before going to work because actually I don't get up in the morning and go through my fridge and pantry to gather my lunch and then I go to work. No, the life is not that easy. I actually prepare them all for me just to grab them before I jump on the car after got dressed. And whatever that you saw, these are the actual routine that I really did in my morning. I mostly cook lunches or pack the leftover from dinner wherever we dine out the day before to be lunch at work. Only some days that I may need coffee. Yeah, I don't really do coffee. Only some day that I may need coffee in the morning to wake me up, to energize me, to keep me up, etc. In this video, it was my 6th day with 2 on-call duty nights, and that's why you saw me not really fully fresh. Even after got some water on my face and brushed my teeth, all of that, it didn't help at all. Yeah, life could be so bad like that when you are not with the good people. How can you imagine that I got myself to work 6 days in a row with 2 call nights? And none of those benefit me at all. Yeah, it sucks. I became a dialysis nurse in 2017. At first, a little bit over a year, I was the nurse at the clinic. And then at the beginning of 2019, I became an acute dialysis nurse. Yes, the one that worked in the hospital, the one that hauling the machine all over the hospital with a lot of things, not just the machines, because there are dialysis machine, the water machine, supplies, computer, that wow stuff, right? So many times that I got help from people around me when I pushed all the machines around because you can imagine how big of them, and not just one, it's like 3 or 4. A lot of the time they just could not stand on seeing me pushing them all around. I really appreciate all of the help.
Mommy have to go to work, Maggie. Wanna go back to bed? Wanna go back to bed? Mommy take you back to bed? Back to bed with Dad?
In this video, you might wondering about, she woke up at 6 o'clock. What is that? She lives right next to the hospital? Yeah, kind of. For all these 2 years, I was working very close to the hospital. The first job for being an acute dialysis nurse, my first hospital that I worked for as an acute dialysis nurse, it was just maybe 10 minutes away from home. And you know what? For all these years that I have been working for, 3 companies, we didn't really have a specific time that requires to clock in and start the job like some other nurses that you may have to come by 6:45 or earlier. So we kind of manage our day. That's why you saw me woke up quite late for some people. But then when we go to work, that's how we really start our job. At first, you're gonna have to start the water. You're gonna have to turn on all the machines around you, get everything checked. And in this video, you will see how many things that I have to check. But those are not all of them because I only show part of them. And then we're gonna have to check the patients. Sometime we might know who would be the patient for today since yesterday, but also sometimes, a lot of the time, that there are the surprises that we have to go through all the lab works. If the patient have access, if that the acute kidney injury, or if the patient is the chronic patient but they just came in to ER because there are some critical situation that happen. Yes, that's how I start my day. Just like you saw, turn on the knob, turn on the button to get the machines on. We always want to have the good day. And for dialysis nurse, the good day can be something so simple, which is opposite to what we are seeing. The machine failed the test. Yeah, right. Pour it to me. Frequently that we need to take care of the patient at bedside, no matter because of the isolation precaution or because the patient in ICU. Some hospitals may already have the water set up for us. That would be the perfect day that we don't have to connect too many things. We just put it on to that connector that was prepared specifically for us. But in some hospital, we need to use the connector and we need to get through a lot of things in order to get the machine running. Somebody can have the perfect life. Not for my case. I do not have that. These are the samples of problems that I got at work. On top of that, we can have the PD patient that has something going on and needed to be admitted. So that would be the emergency for us because we need to get the patient through the day. We're going to have to find out what time that we have to put the patient on and any other problems that we have to find out if we have to send the fluid to the labs or anything. Those problems only makes me stronger. Yes, we're going to make it through the day no matter how many problems we're going to have, how many things going to run to us. We are the strong dialysis nurse. We can do anything. Well, let's go back to the PD patient. We're going to find out about the patient, where the patient is, if the patient in the private room, because that must be. Then we're going to go through the order and check out what time that would not be so bad to put the patient on. It's not going to bother the patient. And then that night we will connect the patient following the prescription, and the next day we're gonna disconnect the patient and taking care of our day. Life go on. After all the goods and the bads all day long, here is the moment that I am more than certain that all of the dialysis nurses would be so happy to see it. Yes, I am thrilled. I'm about to go home. I'm dying. I'm tired. I am hungry. I want to go to bed. Yes, of course. Now is the time. It's about to be done. The disinfection is about to be done. No matter what is going on at this moment, everything is complete and time for me to go home. Yippee! We are going home!
Now back to talk to me. How do you like me with this look? Yes, with a little bit of makeup on and the lipstick. That makes me look a lot differently than the girl from the beginning, right? Yes, and what about now? After you see how I spend my day at work as the acute dialysis nurse, the life that you may not really see so much because dialysis is always in the different part in some corner of the hospital. It's not a lot of people would even know where is dialysis, or even worse, what is dialysis. But that's how we spend our life. We have a lot going on. We always have the problem that we really have to find out what we're gonna do to get the day go through. Dialysis nurse works a really long hours. It doesn't matter what the job description say to you. You have to get all the treatments done. Sometimes you can get the on-call nurse come to help you because that would be the after hours. But sometimes it also how you see the job, that it can be another case waiting for that on-call nurse. So if this case is almost done, sometimes we just finish it and complete it and let that nurse go to the next one right away. So that way he or she, the on-call nurse, can go back home earlier, not have to spend a whole night, because you know what, dialysis nurse already work from the beginning of the day and go through a whole day. And if you have the call, sometimes you don't even have to go home. You may be in a car on the way back home, but then you got called back, or you even not have chance to leave the hospital, but you have the added on case that you have to finish, or sometimes you get sent to another hospital to finish that case, the last one, as on-call nurse. And of course, sometimes you got to wake up in the middle of the night to come back to take care of that call because something going on in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter if the high potassium, some overdose or fluid overload, anything could happen, and you're gonna have to jump out of the bed, put the scrub on and come back to work. Whatever it is, how many things that I told you about, that's the problem, this is the problem, and that's another thing we call the problem, issues. I still love my job. I enjoy being a dialysis nurse. Let's see, anybody else that interested about this job? Dialysis is fun, and I guarantee you from my experience that I love my job and I enjoy doing it. Here is how I spend my day as a dialysis nurse. I hope you enjoy it. Again, as usual, click like, subscribe with me to see what will be the next video. Nice to meet everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!